Hello, coolers, and welcome back to Viva Barca. Welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to be discussing on the latest developing stories. We start with Ace Abde. As it has been reported that Barca have received offers already for the 21-year-old attacking prodigy. We are going to be discussing on that as we progress. Then, secondly, talking about Pedri Gonzalez in a recent interview where he talks about Luis Enrique, Xavi, Messi, of course, PSG rumors and injuries. We are also going to be discussing on that. So, guys, as we get right into the full stories, please do ensure to subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. Barca are being very cautious about the future of Ace Abde. The 21-year-old had an impressive season on loan with Osasuna, wherein he made 34 appearances, scoring 6 goals. Now that the winger has returned, Xavi just must make a final decision on his future. And if a report from Sport is to be believed, the youngster has been put on the market by the team and they have already received several proposals for the player. Abde was recently called up to the Morocco under-23 team for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations under-23. The 21-year-old went on to score 3 good goals in his first 2 matches before he was rested against Ghana in their third group stage game. Barca then made the request for him to not play in the tournament as they do not want to risk the player with injury. This is because Xavi wants him to be part of his pre-season program, but that does not necessarily mean Abde will end up staying at Barcelona beyond the summer. The 21-year-old showed his skills while being on loan at Osasuna, but it must be remembered that the competition on wings at Barca right now is really scary. So if Abde is willing to settle for a secondary role there, the team might think of his continuity, but if not, the parties could part ways. Given Barcelona's need to make sales and generate revenue, they are willing to offload Abde if an offer of around 35 million euro comes. Interestingly enough, Abde already has several suitors waiting for him to make a decision, and rumors have it that Real Betis happen to be one of them, although they would only be looking at a loan deal. Betis' sporting director Ramon Planes highly rates the winger, but even he has admitted that the signing will only be possible in the last week of this market, which is why they are not ready to rely on Barcelona entirely. But the Blaugrana do have offers for the 21-year-old Ace Abde, and so it remains to be seen whether they deem any of those acceptable. Of course, Abde has been a player who have done so well while playing on loan at Osasuna last season, and Barcelona are really happy about his performances. There have been a lot of rumors about the player staying put at Barca permanently this upcoming season, while some other rumors are contradicting, saying that Barca want to sell him as the club really needs to sell players to make revenue. Of course, Xavi have already said he wants Abde to be part of his pre-season training and also part of the tour to the United States where they will face some tough clubs there in Real Madrid, Arsenal, AC Milan, of course, in the pre-season, and he wants Abde to be part of it as Xavi is really interested to assess the player himself and make a final decision as to whether Abde really merits to be at the first team next season or he will be loaned out or sold. So it remains to be seen how things will look like for Abde. The player is in great form currently, of course, playing for the under-23 for the Morocco national team. Abde did so well there in that tournament, scoring some marvelous goals. And of course, manager Xavi is really strongly considering the player as to be part of his team for next season. So a lot still needs to be decided. By the way, that is why Xavi really wants to evaluate certain players for pre-season, not just Abde. There are a lot of players that Xavi will want to call, and from there on, they can make a final conclusion as to whether those players will stay put at Barca or they will be sold. Of course, I think Barca right now, apart from Samuel Umtiti, having sold any player Umtiti's contract was terminated, and of course, Barcelona are still in a very tight situation financially, can still register players, and of course, they're in such difficulties to get things done. I've been linked with a couple of players, and honestly, to sign those players have been very difficult because the finances are very, very difficult to come by. And of course, if player sales are done faster than expected, then it was going to help the club big time in order to, go do well in this transfer market, register the players that needs to be registered. And of course, so far, it's still very, very difficult transfer window for Barca. Ace Abde, honestly, it is very, I don't know, it's uncertain if he will stay. Had it been Barca were not in a pressure to sell players, then might be he could have considered staying, but I very much doubt that. I very much doubt that. Considering that even at Barca, the competition on the wings is very, very tight. Rafinha, Dembele are the ones occupying the wings that Abde can play, and definitely those two guys, Rafinha and Dembele themselves, are fighting for a starting 11 spot all the time. So bringing Abde there, I think he himself will see that it will be very difficult for him to have that game time, and that might change his decision not to stay at Barcelona. But nonetheless, Xavi wants him to be part of the preseason as it kickstarts on the 10th of July. Then moving on to the final story of discussion. Arriving at a difficult period for Barca, Pedri has established himself as one of the brightest talents in Europe, helping alleviate the club's sporting difficulties at the age of just 20. However, despite still being a young star, the Golden Boy Award winner has always spoken like a veteran. Of course, atypical to his play style, Pedri's words encapsulate wisdom beyond his years. In a recent interview with Teledeporte via Sport, Pedro discussed a number of matters related to Barca and the world of football. The fans don't value Xavi very much, but inside the dressing room we value him, Pedri said. When asked about his new role following departures of Busquets and Alba, Pedri said, I don't want to put the pressure on myself. I try to help the young players in the same way they have helped me. Injuries have hampered Pedri quite a bit so far. Talking about that, he said, I will try to work hard to be lucky enough not to get injured, to reduce the risk of much as possible, and to enjoy football. Recently, there had been rumors of PSG making an offer to sign Pedri from Barca, with the eminent appointment of Luis Enrique at the Ligue 1 club. When asked about that, in response, Pedri stated that he does not currently have any plans to join PSG, despite having fond memories with Luis Enrique in the national team. He said, "It's not what I have in mind now. I don't know if Luis Enrique is going to sign players or not. In any case, I'm sure he would be a good coach for PSG." So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.